This is the project for the bones in the body. We'll start with the first page, which is these bones, which are the femur, the patella, the tibia, the fibula, the tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. The definitions and facts will be on the back. So we have the femur, which is located in the human thigh. It is both the longest and strongest bone in the body. After that, we have the patella, which is known as the kneecap. It protects the interior articular surface of the knee joint. Then we move on to the tibia, which is the larger and strongest of the two bones in the leg below the knee. The fibula, which is the smallest of the two bones below the knee, the most slender of all the long bones. Then the tarsals are a set of irregularly shaped bones. They're in the foot and ankle area, and they connect to the phalanges. The metatarsals are bones in the mid-foot that are tubular in shape. They're like a tube, so cylindrical. Phalanges, bones in fingers and toes. They are classed as long bones. So again, we have the femur, the patella, the tibia, fibula, tarsal, metatarsals, and phalanges. Next, we have a picture of the foot. For the foot, we have the calcaneus, the talus, the navicular, the cuboidal, the cuneiforms, the medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and lateral cuneiform. Then cuboidal. Then we have the phalanges, the distal phalange, middle phalange, and proximal phalanges. And then we have the metatarsal. The cuneiforms. The medial is located in the middle of the foot. It is also the first internal cuneiform. The intermedial is the smallest of the cuneiforms. The lateral, it is in the middle or between the intermediate cuneiform and the cuboidal. The phalanges, we have the distal, middle, and proximal. The distal are bones in the tips of the fingers and toes. The middle are the bones between the distal and proximal phalanges, and proximal closest to the hand or foot. They make up the knuckles. Metatarsals are the bones in the hands and feet. Cuboidal is a tarsal bone on the outer side of the foot. Navicular is located in the top inner side of the foot, helps connect the talus to the cuneiform bones, and then the talus, which main connector between the foot and the leg. Again, we have the phalanges, the metatarsals, cuboidal, calcaneus, talus, and navicular, and the cuneiforms. Next, we have the hands with a frontal and backwards view or lateral view. For the hands, we have the phalanges again, the distal and the proximal. We have sesamoid bones. We have a trapezium, trapezoid, and scaphoid bones. We have a radius, an ulna, a lunate, a pisiform, and metatarsals, which range from 1 to 5. On this side, we have middle, distal, we have proximal, we have the head, the shaft, and the base. We have the hamate, the capitate, and the trachelium. The phalanges for distal and proximal. The fingertips. Distal are the fingertips, the last ones. Proximal, the closest to the hand or the foot. For sesamoid bones, they're embedded within a tendon, sheet, or muscle. Trapezium are carpal bones. Trapezoid, the smallest bone in the distal row of the carpal bones. The scaphoid forms radial border of carpal tunnel. Metacarpals are located between the phalanges. Pisiform is situated where the ulna joints meets the wrist. Lunate is distinguished by a deep concavity located in the center of the proximal row of the carpal bones. Ulna is the longest bone found in the forearm radius, and then the radius extends from the elbow to the thumb. The distal, middle, and proximal. These are the bones that make up the phalanges. The head, shaft, and base are the top and end, middle, and end of the metacarpal bones. The hamate forms the carpal arch, and the capitate allows movement of wrist from side to side, and the triquetrum gives shape and maintains the wrist flexibility. Maintains flexibility in the wrist. Again, we have phalanges, sesamoid bones, trapezium, trapezoid, scaphoid, ulna, radius, lunate form, metacarpals, all 5 of them, distal, proximal, middle, head, shaft, base, hamate, and then capitate and intercilium. Next, we have the pelvis area, or the hips. This is the iliac crest, sacral armontary, the sacrum, ilium, the superior iliac spine, the ischial spine, pubic bone, pelvic brim, ischium, the pubic arch, the coccyx, the sacrum, the sacroiliac joint, and the sacrum again. For the iliac crest, it flexes and rotates the femur. The ilium ensures support of the spine. The superior iliac spine, the anterior or extremity of the iliac crest in the pelvis. It provides attachment to inguinal ligaments. The ischial spine is the left hip joint. It gives attachment to the sacrospinoid ligament. The pubic bone connects the right and left hip bone. The pelvic brim is the anterior margin of the superior sacrum. The ischium forms the base for each half of the pelvis. The coccyx, the small bone in the end of the base and the spine. The sacrum is located at the base of the lumbar vertebra and is connected to the pelvis. The sacral promontory is the first sacral vertebrae in is inward projecting. The sacral joint links the pelvis to the lower spine. And here we have the bones again. Next we have the ulna and the radius. Okay. Here we have the head, the neck, the greater tubercle, the deltoid tuberosity, the radial groove, the Cranon fossa lateral epicondyle, the coronoid fossa, the trachea, the lateral epicondyle, the radial fossa. We also have the radial notch of ulna, olecranon process, the trochlear notch, the head, the neck, the ulnar tuberosity, coronoid process, radial tuberosity, the radius, the proximal radial joint, the anterior border, the ulna. Oh, this is the ulna. The interoserous membrane, the stenoid of the ulna, and the styloid process. For this,